Hey guys, Denise with Lazy K Mountain Homestead. Well, I'm back. It's been a few weeks, at least two. I have finally gotten over the sickness that I had. I mean, I was down for 2 weeks straight. Willis had it first. I was 2 days behind him. He got over it faster than me, but I don't know if it was COVID or what. My doctor said she thought it probably was, but that was without going in for a test. But the symptoms were all there. But anyways, I'm feeling better, on the mend, so I'm really glad to be back. So I've got a recipe that I want to try today. We've got 2 more days of November, so I thought I'll just go ahead and do a pumpkin spice bundt cake with brown sugar frosting. I thought that sounded really good to kind of lead into the Christmas holiday season starting Friday, December 1st. And we're going to Willis and I'll start our 25 days to Christmas countdown with cookies, cakes, goodies. I'll try to throw in some savory things, but you know me, I love the sweets. So we'll see what happens. I've got a lot of things planned. So hope you'll stay with us. So anyways, with that, let's get started with this recipe. It's a recipe I've never tried before. It is a family recipe. So I'm pretty excited about it. I just kind of spilled some eggs, so you know me, the real deal. Okay, well, it's a bundt cake, so you're going to need a bundt pan. Now, if you don't have a bundt pan, I'm sure you can use a tube pan, but I'm going to go ahead and use my 1970s retro bundt pan. As you can see, Harvest Gold. I got that from a thrift shop a few years ago, and I just love it. Now, you're going to want to spray it with your baking spray, because these will stick really easily. And I'm going to spray all the crevices in this. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and flour this too. I know there's a baking spray out there that you can get that has a flour in it. I think it's called Baker's Joy or something. But I'm going to go ahead and do that because I've actually had some issues with this bundt pan. And it might be operator error, I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and just flour it too. That's up to you, but I don't want it to stick. So let me go ahead and get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got it floured, sprayed, floured. You're going to set that aside, so I'll just put it back here on the counter. And we are going to start with our big bowl. Put that tripod down so you can see, see what we're doing here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven at 325, and I've already done that. And we're going to combine our dry ingredients. I am going to use my sifter because this is a cake and I'm using all-purpose flour, not cake flour, and I do want it to be fluffy. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine our flour, our baking powder, our spices, and our salt. Now what we're going to need is, let me get down here to my flour, 3 cups of flour. And again, I'm using all-purpose. So I'm just going to put that in my sifter. Now, if y'all don't have a sifter, you know, you can use a mesh strainer or something, just to ensure that it's nice and fluffy. I mean, that's my preference, like I said. All right, there's my 3 cups. I'll go ahead and set that aside. And let me get my tools here. And we are going to need 2 tablespoons of baking powder, not soda, baking powder. And like I always tell you, make sure that your baking powder is in date, because if it's not in date, you're going to be very sad because it won't rise. All right, there's the 2 tablespoons. And we're going to go ahead and add our spices, and our spices are going to be pumpkin pie spice, cardamom, my fave, ground nutmeg, ground ginger, And of course, cinnamon. Yay. A lot of spices in this. But I think this is going to be just a wonderful, wonderful warm cake with all those wonderful, yummy spices. Okay, so we've got a half a teaspoon here of pumpkin pie spice. That is pretty powerful, so I'm sure that's why it's only half a teaspoon. We are going to have a quarter teaspoon of cardamom. Now I'm going to change this and put a half a teaspoon because I love cardamom. This is not a real spicy cardamom, so that's why I'm going to just go ahead and go off recipe. And you know I always do that. 1.5 teaspoons of ginger. So this is going to be really nice and spicy and warm. So if you love pumpkin pie spice, or you like and pumpkin spice and everything nice, I think you'll love this recipe. Okay, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. Oh wow, yum. I bet this will be a really good cake for in the morning. It's not a coffee cake, but I just like things like that with my coffee. Nice warm spicy things. Okay, and the nutmeg is going to be 1 teaspoon. Wow, that's a lot of nutmeg, but we'll go ahead and go with it. I love nutmeg too. Okay, so we've got all of our stuff in there except our salt, and our salt is 1 teaspoon. Go ahead and put that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and sift this through. I had tried to make this video earlier and our power went out. I understand that they're doing some construction or digging or something over on one of our side roads. My neighbor texted me and told me because theirs went out too, a couple roads over from me. We live out in the country. We don't usually have problems like that, but I hope no one was hurt in that. Okay, so there we've got our dry ingredients, and we are just going to set that aside. Kind of move some of my stuff out of the way. And now we're going to have another bowl, a medium-sized bowl, and we are going to whisk together our wet ingredients. Got a lot of recipes I've been writing down in here that I've gotten from family and friends, so I'm pretty excited. Now I'm going to do this by hand. You guys can do it in the mixer, but you know me, I like to do things as, you know, old-fashioned as possible. All right, this recipe calls for 5 eggs, and it also calls for brown sugar and white sugar. So we are going to go ahead and put in our sugars, and we're going to cream together with our eggs. And it is 1 cup of brown sugar. So let me go ahead and get that 1 cup. I guess I'll have to do 2 half cups because I don't see that I've got a cup measure here. It's probably in my flour. All right, there's a half. Now it doesn't say packed, so I'm not going to do packed. I'm just going to go ahead and do 1 cup, just measured out like that. You know, I do follow the recipes sometimes. Okay, and then for the white sugar, we are going to have 1 1/4 cups. Let me see here. Oh, here's a cup measure. Make sure my sugar isn't, it looks like it is a little sticky, or I don't want it to come out in big clumps because then it always makes a mess. All right, there's 1 cup. And then we are going to go for a 1/4 cup. And I thought I just had that red. Yep, no. Yep, here it is back in my brown sugar. I know everything by colors. So there is a 1/4 cup of, whoopsie, I knew it would do that. Oh, wow. I hate wasting anything. Okay, so there's our sugars. 1 cup of brown and 1¼ cup of white. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just mix those sugars around in there, just to get them incorporated in each other. And hopefully get some of the lumps and bumps that sugar, especially brown sugar, can have. Any little pieces that look like they're hardened, I just go ahead and take out of them. I find I do have that, especially when I make my own brown sugar with molasses. Sometimes the molasses doesn't mix as well with the white sugar. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our 5 eggs. I've got right here 5 hen eggs from this morning, and I'm going to go ahead and put all of them in at one time. And we are going to go ahead and just beat this together. Like I said, you can do this with your mixer. That's up to you. Now it's going to take a little bit for me to do this because I want to get this all nice and creamed. If you don't cream it together, it can stand a chance of being gritty, and you don't want that. You see how it's getting nice and fluffy? And I can see the egg whites are starting to fluff it up and froth it up, and that's where you want it to be with this. I get a workout when I... Okay, I think that's good enough for that one. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put this sugar on this plate over here that's on my recipe book. Okay, so next what we're going to do is into the egg sugar mixture, we are going to add, and I've got it over here, 3/4 cup of oil, and I have got another 1/4 cup in the microwave that I melted earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and get that, so I'll be right back. Okay, I've got that in there, and I'm going to add my vanilla. This calls for quite a lot of vanilla, and I believe it's 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I've got to get to the store and get me some more vanilla. So there's 2 teaspoons. I always use a cap because it does measure out to a teaspoon. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to mix all this together. About 30 seconds. Just to incorporate it. I love trying to do things by hand because I try to think of the housewife back in the day that didn't have a mixer, you know, couldn't afford a mixer or anything, and she did everything like this. I mean, my grandmother did everything by hand. I actually got her mixer when she was able to get one back in the 70s. It was a Sunbeam, and it lasted for a long, long time. Okay, so there it is. You kind of want it to look like this. Really nice, and you'll be able to see it's all nicely incorporated. And man, does this smell good. Okay, so next, we are going to add our pumpkin puree. Now, let me get that over here. This is 2 cups of pumpkin puree. And if you're going to the store to buy it, make sure you don't get the pumpkin, the already prepared pumpkin pie filling, because that has eggs and everything in it, I believe. So you don't want that. In this recipe, in capital letters, says do not use that. You want the pumpkin puree. And this is pumpkin puree that we did ourselves. So I know it's 2 cups because that's what I measured these all out for. If you guys watched that video, you saw that. I always freeze it in 2 cups because that's what most of the recipes call for if I'm using something with pumpkin. Okay, so that's in there. And put this back down for y'all to see. The pumpkin's in there, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix that together. Isn't that nice? Like I said, if you're a pumpkin pie spice, like my friend Kathy, lives over on the road. Hope you're feeling better, Kathy. I think she probably got that monster crud that we all got. But I'll see if I can't get a piece of this sent over to you. You can send Bob over tomorrow and he can bring a piece to you. Okay, so that is mixed. And it says about 30 seconds. So I think that's where we are. So let's put this back down. And there we go. Let me go over here and turn on my backlight, so maybe to give us a little more light. I hope that'll help. Oh yeah, that helps. So it kind of looks like pumpkin pie filling. Okay, so I'm just gazing around, making sure I've used everything here. So now what we're going to do next is we are going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just add that a cup at a time, and this is a half cup measure. Go ahead and get that nicely incorporated. Now remember, it's a cake mix, so that's going to be the consistency you're looking for. And once we get all this in here, we will put it in our prepared Bundt pan. Now it does bake for 55 to 60 minutes. And the person I got this from said that it took in her oven about 55. And she used a instant temperature thermometer, which I do not have, but it read at 180. If you guys use them, you'll know what you're looking for. I usually just do a toothpick, but I do have thermometers that I could stick in there. So I may do that too, just to see how close we are with a regular read thermometer. Okay, and it's getting thicker, as you can see. I think this bowl here that I've got will hold it, I hope. Oh boy, that smells good. It looks good too. All right, this is our last cup. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it in there. Set that aside. And get this all nice and mixed. So I have to go kind of slow with this one. You know what? I think I'm going to grab another one of my Danish dough whisks. I think they will probably do a better job than I need to get another regular whisk, a bigger one, like a French whisk. I had one and it finally fell apart and I had to throw it away. But anyway, yeah, I think this will do a better job. Yeah. Now go slow unless you have a bigger bowl than me. This is about the medium bowl that I had, and it does hold a lot. Willis makes his biscuits in this bowl when he's home. He is down in Fort Myers, Florida today, and he has air conditioning on. I have the wood stove on. Like I said, it was 15 degrees this morning. I had to put my new coveralls on and go out and feed the goats and chickens and dogs and cats and turkeys and quail, and everybody was happy to see me, believe me, and I was happy to see they were okay. Always something on the homestead. Okay. That was good. Yum. Oh man, does this taste good. I know it has raw eggs in it. Don't crucify me. But there you go, guys. Look at that. I'm just going to go ahead and get some of that flour off. It's on the edges a little. Wow. This is yummy. Now this, like I said, is a Bundt cake. And it does have a frosting. The frosting is a brown sugar frosting. So that's something different. And you put that on after it's completely cooled. And you can also sprinkle chopped pecans, because there's something that doesn't go any better than a pumpkin pie spice than chopped pecans in my book. Oh, I think it's so good. Okay, well, let me go and put this down so you can see me pour it in. Hopefully I don't make any boo-boos, and I'll grab a spatula. All right, here we go. Wow. That is beautiful. Look at the color. You know, if you guys ever get a chance, or if you already do and process your own pumpkins, I'll tell you, you won't be sorry. Super easy. I do mine in the oven, and I have a food processor. If you have a blender, or you just want to do it with a food mill, that's up to you, but it doesn't take long. Just get your pumpkins from the store, farmer's market. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get some of these air bubbles out. You can see them popping up there. Okay, well, there we go. Into the oven, 325. It's preheated, and we're going to go ahead and check it at 55 minutes. And I'll be back, and I can't wait. See you in a few. Hey guys, I'm back with the cake. It's exactly 55 minutes. Let me go ahead and put this down so you can see the cake. Look how beautiful that is. And I did stick my thermometer in, and it did go to 180. So I can find another hole here. Now it went to 180 pretty quickly, but that's as high as this thermometer will go. So I can't honestly say it's not hotter inside there. So anyway, I'm going to let this cool for 20 minutes in the pan. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip it out on a plate and then put it on my cooling rack. And then I've got to cool it for another 30 minutes before we make the glaze or the frosting. And the frosting is really kind of unique. It's a brown sugar frosting. It does take 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, 1 stick of butter that will be melted, and let's see, what is there? Another ingredient here. Oh, and 2 teaspoons of milk. So that should really be yummy, but you don't put that on this cake until it's completely cooled. I can see where it would probably melt it off all over your plate, so you don't want that. So I will be back in 20 minutes when I flip it, and then we'll do another 30, and then we'll go ahead and make the glaze in the meantime, and I'll have that set aside, and we'll put it on the cake, and we'll see what it looks like. And it'll be shorter on the video because I won't make you guys wait all that time. See you in a few. I gotta go put the animals up. Okay, guys. Well, the cake, I waited 20 minutes, and it popped right out of the Bundt pan, so I'm really happy with that. It's really dark, and I think that's due to all those wonderful warm spices that's in this cake. So I'm going to go ahead and just slip this off of the plate and put it on the cooling rack. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this cool for another 30 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and make the glaze for it. I've already got my 1 stick of melted butter. And let me get a couple more things together and we'll make it together. Be right back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make this glaze / frosting while the cake is cooling. So what you're going to need is 1 stick of melted butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and let me see, 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. So let me go and put this tripod down so you can see what I'm doing. I melted it in the microwave. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Now that's packed, 1/2 cup of packed. So I'm just going to mix it up. Now you can do this in your mixer if you want. It's up to you. And I'm just going to mix that around until it is not gritty anymore. And it might take me a couple times to go around here. But I look at it this way. You know, the ladies from back in the day, they did this. they survived. So we're just getting this nice and incorporated here. And I do see a couple little chunks in there of the molasses. So let's see if I can get some of that out. Let me grab a spoon. There we go. All right, let me see here. Of course, now I don't see them. They may have melted. Let's see. Nope, there's one. Yeah, with the molasses in there, when I make my own brown sugar, sometimes it doesn't melt all the way. Even though I put it in my stand mixer and I let it blend for a long time, it just happens. There's another one. So I'm just taking them out because I don't think that they'll melt. Keep my spoon here just in case. Okay. And I'm just mixing. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put in 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Let's see, this has been opened, so get the end that's been opened. There we go. Here's my 1 cup measure. Go ahead and put that in there. And then my 1/2 cup measure. So 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix that around. Boy, that cake smells good. Willa said he wishes he was home. He'll probably be home tomorrow. Okay, I'm just kind of mixing this around. It's pretty thick. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add the 2 teaspoons of milk. And if it's not the right consistency, I'll add more. But I'm going to start with the 2 teaspoons of milk. Oops. And you know, with powdered sugar, it doesn't take a whole lot of liquid to make it nice and glaze-like. And we do have that 1/2 stick of melted butter in here too. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more milk in here. Maybe 1 more teaspoon. Because I want it to be where I can pour it. Let's see what that does. Well, I'm going to go for 1 more. So the recipe does say, depending, and we are about 2,000 feet up, so altitude does make a difference when you're making things like this. I know when I have to do my pie crust, I have to add a lot more cold water. Okay, I still think I'm going to add a little bit more. This might do it. So this will be 5. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I want. So it'll be, yeah, like that. Be a thick glaze. In about 30 minutes, this cake should be just about cooled. And if it's a little bit warm, I actually think that this glaze will just set on it nicely. But there is your glaze. And I'm going to go ahead and try some of it because I've never had brown sugar frosting. Oh, that's good. It is a little crunchy. You know what I think I might do? I think I'm going to go ahead and put this in my mixer and just see if I can get some of the crunch out of there, because I really don't want it to be crunchy. So let's go on over to the mixer. I'm going to use my whisk attachment. Now, I know I say I like to do things old-fashioned. Well, apparently I'm not as strong as those ladies from yesteryear. Unless it's supposed to be crunchy. I don't know. Like I said, I've never made this before. But I just think that it would be better if it didn't have a crunchy element to it. And I know this will whip it so it will cream a lot better. That's as high as it'll go. I'm going to cream it for about a minute and see where we are. So I'll be back in a few. Okay, I'm back with the glaze / frosting. Now, I did whip it for about 2 minutes, and I ended up adding another teaspoon of milk. I just felt like it needed that. It whipped it up nicely. It doesn't have any more crunch to it. So in the directions, it doesn't say anything about it being crunchy. So I would suggest, if you have a mixer, go ahead and mix your melted butter and your brown sugar first in your mixer and whip it up really good and make sure that that crunch is out of there. Okay, well, it's been almost 30 minutes, so the cake is cooled. So let me show you. The cake is cooled. I can handle it. I'm going to go ahead, and it's really cool. I mean, it might be a little warm in the middle, but I'm not going to worry about it. I think it just looks lovely. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just kind of go over, kind of round here. Let me see if I can go this way so you guys can see what I'm doing. Like so. And that way, this glaze / frosting should go down the sides with gravity. And if there's a little more warmth in the cake, yeah, that's what I want right there. And I'm just going to kind of help it drizzle down the sides like so. And some back here. Oh yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? There we go. Wow, this really looks good. And as usual, I'm making a mess. Okay, so that's for that. Now, what the recipe does not call for is pecans. I've got, let me tell you what I got. If you're in the States and you are anywhere near a Rural King, look at this. I got this for $14. It is crushed, not crushed, but finely chopped pecans. And it was $14. I was so tickled with that. I get a lot of my bulk spices there too, because I just think that's a really good deal. And I can get, like, I got whole cloves, and I'll just go ahead and grind them myself. But I'm just going to go ahead and just put a few of these pecans over here. Not a whole lot, but just kind of there, because I think it just really adds something to this cake. What do you guys think? I think it looks really fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a slice, and we'll see what it looks like. Be back in a minute. Wish my taste tester was here. Okay, guys, I've cut the cake. There it is. Isn't that pretty? It's really, really yummy. It smells so good. I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be yummy. Since my taste tester Willis isn't here, I'm going to have to do this duty. And I've got my glass of milk that he would always have. He'll be home tomorrow to taste it. But I'm going to go ahead and taste it for you guys. See what it's like. Mmm. Mmm. That's delicious. Wow. It's kind of like a pumpkin bread pound cake. So that's really good in my book. So I hope you try this recipe. Hope you'll stay tuned for more good recipes and crazy stuff we do here on our homestead. And y'all have a great night. And we'll see you from Lazy K Mountain Homestead. Thanks again for watching. Bye.